What is up, you guys? A lot of you have been asking on my other social medias to finally make a YouTube channel for the Mustang. And I have a couple projects that I'm working on right now. One in particular I'd like to start and finish today, so I thought it'd be a great time to finally make a YouTube video. It is my first, so please be gentle in the comments. And if you have any suggestions or want me to show you something or do something with the car, please leave them down below. I'm really excited to hear what you guys have to say. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so a little more of an explanation on what I'm working on today. My oil pan is leaking a tiny bit from the gasket, so my goal is to drain the oil, take off the oil pan, bring that back to my house, and sandblast it. I'm also gonna put a coat of Rust-Oleum on it because it's a little bit in rough shape and I'd like it to be in better condition before I put it back on the car. I'm also pretty curious to see if the oil that I drained today has any coolant in it because as some of you already know, my coolant system has been giving me quite a headache. It keeps leaking at the weak points. I've replaced everything. It seems to be working fine now. But it could be a sign of an overpressurized coolant system because of a head gasket blown or a number of other terrible possibilities. So hopefully it's none of that, and the oil comes out looking pretty clean. So yeah. Because I know a lot of you are going to ask, I use this bin instead of a regular oil catch pan because in my experience, having something with these really high walls and jacking the car up to just the right point really helps keep the mess under control. So I'm just going to slide this under the car, I'm going to get under there myself, and we're going to start draining the oil. Alright, first things first, we're going to take off this oil fill cap. It's going to help speed up the process while we drain the oil by allowing air into the system while the oil drains. I'm going to be using this adjustable wrench, and we're going to unbolt the drain plug and let the oil drain. Good news, it looks like there is no coolant. All right, now I'm gonna go swap this bin out for a trash bag. I'm just gonna slide it under there so that when I unbolt the oil pan, I can just let it go into the trash bag and use that to bring it home so I don't get oil all over my car. Okay, to get this oil pan off, I'm gonna be using a 7/16 inch socket and an extension. So this. I've actually just found a method that seems to work a lot faster, and that is to add the, oh Lord, the socket and the socket extension to the end of a drill and just use that to take the oil pan out. It seems to be working a lot faster and it's a lot less hard on my hands. So these bolts in the corner of each side, those are 1/2 inch, not 7/16. So I also want to point out, I had to loosen up a bolt on my starter so that I could just move it far enough to get 2 of those bolts attaching the oil pan. If you don't do that, there's just no way to get it loose. So I got all of the bolts off the oil pan and in this little cup. My next step is going to be just trying to take it off the car and getting it out without moving any of the steering items. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Hopefully I won't have to take the steering system apart, but if I do, it's fine. You can always put it back together. Alright, so I'm going to be taking the screwdriver and wedging it in between the oil pan and the engine, and then I'm going to try to pull it through this way. This might be an issue. If it is, we will figure it out. I'm also going to be putting on some eyewear because there's most likely going to be a lot of debris falling while I do this, and I really don't want to get it in my eyes, so bear with me. So as you can see, I've got the oil pan loose. The issue is that there is no room to pull it out without taking out this cross member from the frame. Thought about taking out the sway bar, the center link back here, but neither of those are going to give me the room that I really need. So I'm a little nervous, but hopefully I don't screw this up. I guess if I do, you guys will be along for the ride. So unsurprisingly, that cross member on the frame is not coming out without a fight, and the drill that I have, let me see if I can show it to you. The drill that I have requires a chuck, and the drill bit that I have in it isn't large enough for the socket that I have that fits the bolts on that cross member. So I have to run to the store anyway. I think while I'm out, I'm gonna be buying that oil and my oil filter, because I still need to get those. So hopefully I'll be back shortly and we can finish this job. Alrighty, I am about to leave for the store. I'm bringing my oil with me. Kind of wish I had an oil pan to bring it in, but you know, it'll be fine. Hopefully I can find everything that I need, and I'll give you guys an update pretty soon. Okay, first trip was a partial success. I got engine oil and an oil filter, and I dumped my fluids, but they didn't have a chuck, so I'm gonna try to run to Ace. They'll probably have something. If not, maybe I can find some at my garage at home. But yeah, that's what we're working with now. So even with the new chuck, the drill isn't working, but I spent like another 15 minutes under the car, and I managed to get one of them loose. Okay, one bolt down, and I managed to not break it. Really hoping I can do that with the other side. I just hit it with some PB Blaster and just really channeled my strength for that one. And I managed to get one out, so let's see if I can get the other side out. We might actually get the sun today. All right, awesome news. I think I'm gonna be able to get this off without moving any of the steering system. I just moved it to a point where I think I can slide it out. I wanted to turn the camera back on so you guys can actually see the moment that I get this thing out of the car, if I'm right about this. Yep. Yes. Woo! It's the underside of my engine without the oil pan on it. Here's a closer look at the oil pan now that I've got it out of the car. I'm hoping this is gonna fit in the sandblaster. First I gotta clean up a little bit, close up the shop, we'll bring it home, try to clean up the oil pan and get that back on the car. So I finished sandblasting the oil pan, and I went to the store and got paint in the closest color to Ford Blue that I could find. Now I'm waiting for it to dry, and I'll put it back on the car when it is. So I just used a razor to get in and scrape the rest of the gasket off the engine block. I did the same with the oil pan. As for the gasket, I'm going to be using a one-piece rubber gasket made by Ford. I figured if anybody's gonna make a good gasket for this car, it's gonna be Ford themselves. All right, I finished torquing down those bolts. Everything seems to be in place now. I will be back here tomorrow, and then I'm going to remove the oil filter, replace that, and add a whole bunch of oil. But until then, this is the way it's looking. I think it looks pretty nice. I really like that blue color. I'm happy with the way that it turned out. But I am going to go home. It's late and I really need a shower, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Welcome back. It's day 2. I've got everything I need here to replace the oil filter and fill it up with oil. Then it's gonna be up to starting the car and hoping that it doesn't leak. So let's get this thing done. All right, here's a little trick you should use when doing any oil change. We're gonna take the new oil filter and we're gonna dab our first finger in a little bit of oil and just run it around the outside of this ring. That's gonna help suction the oil filter onto the block and keep it from leaking. Now we just screw the new oil filter back in place and fill her up with oil. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like and comment if you have any ideas for future projects or future videos for this car. And if you really like this video and you want to see more of my stuff, go give me a follow on TikTok at Catherine1967 or Instagram at 1967m.stang. I'm going to be making a lot of videos. I've got lots of cool projects on the horizon for this car, so I will see you very soon.